I love that we're Miami's hometown airline. One of the top 5 variables companies consider when moving their business or relocating to a new city, a new community, is air connectivity. And we bring just that. We've been a hub at Miami for more than 3.5 decades. And we've always functioned with a very important premise that what's good for Miami is good for American, and not the other way around. One of the ways we got there is by always being part of the community. And so we'll continue to invest in the infrastructure. We're investing in the technology, we're investing in the team, and we want to continue to be part of this amazing story that Miami has.
Welcome to Opportunity Miami. Today we have JC Liscano with us. We're so glad to have you here. JC's with American Airlines, and he's also chairman of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council Board. Welcome to Opportunity Miami.
Pleasure to be here, Rod.
You've been chair of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council you're the first chair that we've had for 2 years, and been amazing progress. What have you most enjoyed about being chair of the Beacon Council, and what most surprised you about it?
You know, Rod, I think something that I absolutely enjoy doing is being part of a project, and it's really rewarding to see that project evolve and iterate. We have this journey that we've gone on together, really, at Beacon Council, and seeing you come in and bring this level of experience and expertise, this incredible intellectual bandwidth that you bring to the table, and seeing what you've done with Beacon. The premise and the purpose was to really give the right architecture to the organization, support it so that it starts to grow and iterate. And you have done that. And so I've had this incredible privilege to be part of it, where, I mean, we're on track to maybe get close to $1 billion in capital investment. Right. The job growth is there. It's just amazing to see what Beacon has been able to do, and then to be able to be a part of that.
You're not only the chairman of Beacon, but you were also chairman of Opportunity Miami prior to that. And Opportunity Miami is a core part of our work in terms of how we think about the future of Miami. Can you talk a little bit about why Opportunity Miami has been such an important initiative for the Beacon Council?
Economic development touches many parts of our community, but the success of Miami is predicated on having a really strong economic development agency. Beacon Council is exactly that. But a part of the vibrancy of really strong economic development is to have a core effort around education, talent, and talent development. And that's exactly what Opportunity Miami brings. You have the Academic Leaders Council. You have all of the key leadership of all of our important academic institutions gathering, aligning, discussing to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our workforce and the future workforce.
Intuitively, that makes sense. This idea that, we're focused on issues of talent, on issues of sustainability in the environment, and issues of opportunity and entrepreneurship. Talk to us a little bit about why those things matter to American Airlines.
We've been a hub at Miami for more than 3.5 decades, and we've always functioned with a very important premise that what's good for Miami is good for American, and not the other way around. And as that storyline has evolved, as we've been such a key part of the economic development of Miami-Dade County, you can see the way the number of flights have grown, the way the team size has grown. We're at 15,000 team members, but so has the economic growth and the economic development of Miami-Dade County. One of the ways we got there is by always being part of the community, entrenched in the community, supporting different organizations, whether it's United Way, whether it's Baptist Health, the things that strengthen and solidify these sort of core initiatives that we have. So, doing things like supporting the Oliver Wyman School, Aviation School at Florida Memorial University, and helping that aviation program really, just take off. Florida International University and the logistics programs, and the fact that we bring students over to our headquarters in Dallas to show them sort of large cargo operations. Or Miami-Dade College, in a partnership, we just recently hired several of their key students. These kinds of opportunities are really important. Aviation sector, Rod, aircraft maintenance technicians, really important work that is done at Miami International Airport. That is the #1 economic engine in this county. And so we've guaranteed all the top graduates at Baker Aviation interviews and jobs at American Airlines. Those are things that are really key in being part of the community, but ensuring the success of its residents, but also of our business entity.
How many employees does American Airlines have in Miami?
We're the largest private employer, Rod, and I'm really sort of personally very proudful of this, and it's incredibly humbling as well to lead a team that's 15,000 strong and growing. And our payroll impact in Miami-Dade County is $1.9 billion.
You talked about being committed to this community, the partnership with Baker, the partnership with FMU. You've also invested more than $3 million in Beacon Council over our 40-year history. You guys really are Miami. I mean, I know that there's something over in Dallas, but we don't really talk about that. I mean, American Airlines is inextricably linked to this market. So when you look at the next 15, 20, 30 years, what do you think Miami means for American Airlines? And what can this community do to be supportive of American?
You know, I love that we're Miami's hometown airline. And something that I was able to really sort of hone in on being part of Beacon is that one of the top 5 variables companies consider when moving their business or relocating to a new city, a new community, is air connectivity. And we bring just that. 46 countries, 190 destinations. That is a really important decision factor companies take into consideration when deciding to move somewhere. We've been able to be part of that story and that journey in providing that. And as we think of the future, we're committed to and doubling down really on our investments in Miami. We're going to add a brand new flagship lounge. That's 40,000 square feet of just really premium lounge space. And then our current flagship lounge is going to be part of the largest Admirals Club we have in the system, which is also incredible to have. And so we'll continue to invest in the infrastructure. We're investing in the technology, we're investing in the team, and we want to continue to be part of this amazing story that Miami has. Miami really right now is the center of the universe. It is a global city, and it is the capital of the Americas. There is no other place that can serve that like Miami.
And I would say there's not even anywhere else that's close. I mean, one of the things is, so I've been doing economic development now over 20 years, and you don't get international business if you don't have direct flights. So that's a core piece of what we sell when we go out and we're marketing Miami, is that we've got all this connectivity. One of the other things, though, that you all have leaned into is this question of sustainability. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about kind of where the aviation industry is going as it relates to sustainability and kind of how American Airlines is driving in that process?
Yeah, look, we certainly want to serve as a catalyst to this area of growth. You know, I'll maybe highlight 3 different things that we've done. An investment with Infinium. They're working on SAF fuel, and that's 90% more efficient as it relates to greenhouse gases.
Sustainable air fuels.
And yes, thank you. And then we have an agreement with Zero Avia to purchase up to 100 of their hydrogen-powered engines. And so they're currently testing that on 20-seat regional jets. So you do those kinds of investments and those agreements to serve as a catalyst, to promote growth, to promote, reaching scale as these technologies are building out. And then something I'm incredibly proud of, IATA is an organization. They're an investor at Beacon, of course. They represent the travel industry all over the world, but IATA for the Americas is based here in Miami. And they have their annual meeting on sustainability, and we sponsored them. We were their prime sponsor, and there was no other place to hold that meeting than right here in Miami, and so we're really proud to do that.
A lot of our listeners to Opportunity Miami are emerging enterprises. A lot of them are young professionals. A lot of them are people that are trying to figure out in this environment, and I think, just in full acknowledgement, this is an environment where the world is in flux. We've got economic insecurity, we've got things, we've got political changes, things happening. For a young professional or a young company that's getting their start and that's here in Miami, what advice would you give them about being optimistic about the future and about the opportunities for them in this community?
Rod, I've been in aviation for 3+ decades. Different economic cycles, moments that were quite difficult. The pandemic, economic downturns, the mortgage crisis. In the role that I play, I'm also kind of exposed to exogenous factors outside of the U.S., globally, and things happen all around the world all the time. My way of putting this into perspective is that we're all in a marathon. This is not a race. And you stay true and firm to your long-term goals, your mid to long-term goals. You don't allow sort of the moment to take you off track from those things. If you're young and you're thinking about tomorrow, and you want to be in a place where things are happening, things are thriving, you're going to be surrounded by intellectual talent, people that want to make an impact, people that want to make a difference. Miami's the place to be. This is a community that is growing, prospering, but not too incredibly large that you can't play a key role in that mission. And so Miami's where you want to be. You want to touch somehow the Caribbean and Latin America, this is the place to be. You want to be at the forefront of tech and financial growth, this is the place to be.
That's right.
Other parts of the country have their moment. This is our moment, Rod.
This is absolutely our moment. The Beacon Council, we're a 40-year organization. It's our job to drive investment and job creation in Miami-Dade County. I'm the CEO of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. What advice would you give me in terms of the things that the Beacon Council should be focusing on?
Something that is incredibly important is to have a capacity to keep a pulse on the community. It takes a bit to get there, and a lot of conversations, and a lot of walking, and a lot of meeting, and a lot of different venues, and a lot of different places throughout Miami-Dade County, and South Florida really. Yeah. But when you get to this place where you're able to have a pulse on small business, medium-sized business, large business, understand what their needs are, understand the economic climate of the country, how to attract companies to move here. That is this kind of like incredible balanced place to be in, and I think you've hit that stride, so you got to find a way to stay there, so you keep bringing that success to Miami-Dade County. Be part of that story, Rod. That's the best advice I can give you as the CEO.
One of the things we haven't touched on is technology. It's changing everything, whether it's AI, a few years ago it was like, big data. These things, these cycles continue to happen, and Miami seems to be a place where a lot of that's happening. What does that mean for the future of American, and what does it mean for the future of Miami?
Well, technology continues to be at the center of a lot of our decision making and a lot of our process and initiatives. Rod, I'll give you a very simple example. We have a smart gating program. It uses machine learning. It takes current data and past data and gives us what is the most efficient way to move 400 flights at that airport. And by the way, that's 400 outbounds.
Wow.
Realize that there's 400 coming in. And so we are able to save 17 hours of taxi time.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I want you to think about what that means in terms of fuel burn, in terms of crew time, aircraft utilization, just because you're able to use technology to define how you move on the surface of that airfield and how you gate the aircraft to maximize connections, maximize exchanges of bags. That's one example that we're using technology. Another one, I'll tell you, we have an incredible partnership with Miami-Dade Aviation, and we're able to build an airtop model where you can take schedules, plug them in, and determine their success with current air traffic patterns and future air traffic patterns. And so the way we're designing our schedules, the architecture behind them, to give people bags and connections, the maximum opportunity to succeed, is now being done so much differently. Technology behind it. And we're able to integrate all of the air traffic at Miami International Airport. This is important because Miami has the capacity to keep growing, and so you're looking for ways to expand on that capacity without really adding much infrastructure, and technology is allowing us to bridge that.
JC, this has been an incredible 2 years. I did not know what to expect when you were coming in the chair, and I can't say that I'm pleased. I'm beyond pleased. The progress we've made. We've redone the bylaws. We've have a 2-year chairmanship. We've raised more money than's been raised in the last 10 years. We're bringing back the Beacon Awards. Lots of success. Any parting words for us as you go into the next chapter?
Rod, I don't know if I necessarily have parting words for you and Beacon Council, but more for anybody that's watching this. It's certainly a commitment in time. It's a love for this community that I think gets you to accepting a role like that. But when you're in there, when you see the work that is done, when you see the work that the staff at Beacon Council is doing, when you see the benefit it brings to our community, sometimes it's not directly tangible to all of you. Sometimes it's not directly tangible to all the residents of Miami-Dade County, even South Florida. But if you just had a minute to be in my shoes and actually see all of the inner workings, the successes that are happening, you would, without a doubt, walk away going, having Beacon Council in Miami-Dade County is incredibly important to the future of our community and to the future growth of our community.